The thought occurred to me while I was preparing for this video that the narcissists who I have known in my life tend to have very few close friends, very few long-term friends. Now, they have friends, they have some close friends, but not very many. What does that mean? Well, the indicator is to me that over the years they have just run on their track. You know, these are people who crave admiration, and because of that, they're dependent on other people to feed their ego. That's called supply. Well, people don't like to be used all the time, and eventually, when you have a close friend, a good friend, and you're a narcissist and you're abusing that friend, you're going to lose that friend. So if you know a narcissist, chances are, and again, you know, there are exceptions. So chances are these people don't have many really close long-term friends because, well, they just burned through them all. Now, when I say long-term, that's kind of a relative expression. So it could be, you know, 20 years. I've known narcissists who have hung out with the same people for decades, but eventually they just can't help themselves. It's kind of like having a wild dog for a pet. Eventually, the wild dog's going to turn on you. So think of the narcissist kind of as a wild dog, and there comes a time in your life or in your experience when dealing with this wild dog narcissist that you're going to have to say, hey, this is not a good pet. I got to get rid of this thing or he is going to devour me. So you got to turn him loose. What happens, or what are some of the factors we need to consider when you get to that point in time in your unfortunate relationship with a narcissist? Well, we got 6 things you need to keep in mind. And number 1 is, we just touched on this, but narcissists crave admiration. We need to keep that at the forefront of our mind, that these people, narcissists, are dependent on us. Now, they want us to think that we are dependent on them, and sometimes we are. That's called codependency. So we are dependent on the narcissist for feedback. We want his approval, her approval. We want his or her love, even if it's fake. We crave that. Sometimes there is a financial dependency on a narcissist because he or she is part of our household income, and that creates a real problem if we lose them, or if it's a business associate. Sometimes we have a legal contract, binding contract to a narcissist, maybe again in business, or maybe if you're unfortunate enough to be married to one of these beasts, one of these wild dogs, and you're kind of connected there. So you are dependent on them, but they are dependent on you to abuse you so they can feel, so they can boost their ego, so they can feel like somebody. So you have this situation of codependency. But we need to understand, first of all, why the narcissist is bound to you, not necessarily you to him. And the reason, or her, the reason the narcissist is bound to you is because they simply crave admiration. That seems so strange. I mean, the narcissists that I have known in my life didn't act like they admired me. Well, first they did during the love bombing stage, but eventually they became abusive. That is because, in my humble opinion, that is because, how do you express this? It's like a form of jealousy where they understand that you are better than them. They were faking that admiration, and the way that they become better than you is to beat you down because they can't elevate themselves to be higher. So when it comes time to dump the narcissist, when it comes time to discard the narcissist, you got to keep in mind that this is not going to be an easy break. Very seldom does that happen. I mean, I guess it could happen. I've never heard of it. I'm nearly 70 years old. I've seen this happen to me. I've seen it happen to other people. I've never seen a clean break with a narcissist, but, you know, there's an exception to virtually everything. So the first thing we have to keep in mind, just kind of summarizing what I already said, is these people crave admiration, and they're not going to let go easy. They're not going to let you go easy. They see you as, well, again, a dependency. They got to have you there. And other people as well. They see you as a possession, and they're not going to give up without a fight. Number 2 is this. You exist to the narcissist for that express purpose of providing supply. I mean, that is your reason for existing. Why am I on the planet? You ever had one of those, what do they call them? Existential crisis, why am I here? What is my place in the broader scheme of things? Well, just ask a narcissist, and he will say, oh, I can answer that. You are here because, well, to boost my ego. I don't think they're going to say that, but that is their thought process, that virtually, not just you, but virtually everyone exists for the express purpose, again, of boosting their ego, of providing supply to them. So you got to understand that when you break away with the narcissist, when you break that bond, when you dump the narcissist, when you discard the narcissist now and forever, this is the final discard, you've had it, you're not going to accept this person back no matter how much hoovering, as they call it, they engage in. No, it's over. You've had it with these people. They're not going to let go easy because you exist to boost them. You are their supply. You are their air supply. So a good analogy, imagine you're in a submarine, and you have this, well, I think a better analogy would be you're a deep sea diver. We're just a sea diver. It doesn't have to be deep sea, does it? And you've got the oxygen tank on, and you got to have that oxygen. And the oxygen tank breaks loose and starts floating away, and you say, man, I got to have that. I'm going to die. Think of yourself as the oxygen tank, and think of the narcissist as the diver, scuba diver. Got to have that supply. Not going to let it go easily. And why does the diver have that oxygen tank? Well, it is to provide oxygen, right? That's the only reason it exists. Likewise, the only reason you exist is to supply the narcissist with his ego, which, by the way, to boost his ego, which, by the way, is to narcissism oxygen. Number 3, keep in mind that when you decide not to supply your, what would we call it, oxygen to the narcissist that's supplied to boost his ego, you need to understand that nearly always they're going to engage in some kind of an aversion strategy. They're going to do something to try to hold you on to them. They need to keep you attached. So you need to expect that, and you need to plan for it. You need to know that it's coming. So here you are thinking, this narcissist is a jerk. He or she has been taking advantage of me for months, maybe years, maybe even decades. Time to break loose. Going to cut loose and let this person go. I'm going to go my way. They're going to go their way. That's going to be the end of it. No, it's not. That will not be the end of it, because they are going to plan and plot to hang on to you every way they possibly can. Exceptions, always. But by and large, the narcissists that I've contended with, that I've viewed other people contending with, they want to hang on. They don't want to let this person go without, because, well, it just destroys their ego. It's like reverse supply. You're no longer providing them supply to their ego, but now you're depleting that supply from their ego. So number 4, you can expect them to move into attack mode. So if they can't dominate you, they will destroy you. As I like to say, what they can't run, they ruin. And if they can no longer run you, if they can no longer dominate you, they can't stand the thought of you existing without them. So they destroy you. And they're certainly not going to let anyone else have you, right? So they do everything they can to move into attack mode, because that is their last bit of supply that they could possibly get. Having said that, I got to say this. They're really good at this. At least the narcissists that I have encountered, and from what I have heard from other people who've encountered these people, they just make their life miserable once you discard them. So that clean break, I don't know that can happen. Maybe so. But you can expect them to contact every single person you know. And they probably start this early in the relationship. But they will contact every person you know, and they will make sure that they know that you are the bad guy, they were the good guy. How often have we talked about that on this channel? That's just the way these people think. It's the way they work. It's the way they operate. And once you break loose, just expect it. Just plan on it. Now, I wish someone had told me this. I'm pushing 70 years old. I've learned a lot of things over those decades. And I didn't have somebody older and wiser to inform me of what to expect, so I just had to learn from experience. I just didn't have that. Well, I did. I learned from experience. And what I learned from experience is these people, these narcissists, are really gifted. They have this amazing talent to destroy your reputation. They can't touch your character, by the way, because your character and your reputation, two different things. Your character is who you are. Your reputation is who other people believe you are. And the narcissist will convince other people that who you are is a bad person. You will come across to them after the narcissist is done talking to them as you are the abuser and the narcissist had to suffer through your abuse. You got to prepare yourself for that. Assume that attack mode is coming. So now, number 5 is there has to be an impending divergent strategy. That is somehow, some way, knowing this is going to happen, you got to make sure that you need to defend yourself. You got to decide how to do that. There are a lot of different things you got to take into consideration. Number 1, if the narcissist is attacking you to your friends, and they get mad at you, they become angry with you, they see you as the bad guy, do you want them to think that? Do you want them to take that position? Most people would say, nah, but then they stop to consider it. That may actually be a good thing because these may be what I call soft friends. They're not truly tied, bound to you. Well, how do you know? How do you know if someone is a true friend or fake friend? Well, the narcissist can help decide that for you. If a narcissist can woo away your friends, your social support, chances are you didn't have a really true friend in the first place, and those people, those so-called friends, may be narcissists themselves. So the narcissist could do you a real favor just by breaking you away from these people. Then again, maybe you may think, that's not the divergent strategy I had in mind. I want to make sure these people understand that this person has taken advantage of me, has abused me. And if you want to do that, go after it for what it's worth. And sometimes that works. I've seen it work, particularly when you start to delve into the narcissist's past and you expose things, you reveal things about the narcissist that nobody knows. The narcissist won't tell you because they're really good. We talked about this yesterday in the video. They're really good, gifted at hiding their past. They don't want anyone to know what they truly are. You find that out, let people know. It just kind of destroys their strategy to smear you in that, what can we call it, postpartum smear campaign after you cut off the narcissist and dump him. Then number 6, another consideration you have to consider as you plan to dump the narcissist, as you plan to discard the narcissist, is the narcissist is caught in a loop. How many times have we talked about this? They are on a cycle, like a washing machine cycle. You push the button and they just do their own thing. Once you establish a relationship with a narcissist, it's like pushing the button, and they just go on their cycle. And there's not a whole lot you can do to stop it. You can get away from them, but they go through their cycle. Even when you walk away from the washing machine, it works. It just keeps on working, at least it's supposed to. So the narcissist doesn't really fully understand you because all he sees you as is supply. Remember, we talked about that before. So he has no intention of truly, or she has no intention of truly reconciling. They may try to vacuum you back into their cycle. They call that hoovering, suck you back in. But that's not true reconciliation. They just don't want to let go of their supply. So they are caught on that loop. In that loop, they are running on that track. They don't understand you because they can't understand you. They don't see the problem that you had. They see you as the problem. And they don't see themselves as a problem. They see themselves, sometimes literally, after they've abused you and you walk away from them. And you say, this guy abused me or this woman abused me. They see that as abuse. Some of these guys, I think, literally. You think they would know better, right? But I've seen some of these people, they honestly believe that you are the abuser because you wouldn't let them abuse them. So that's really twisted thinking. Well, it's a narcissist. These people, many of them are psychopaths, Machiavellian mindset, dark triad. They don't see clearly. They just can't think linearly or logically like most people. Everything is black and white, and in their little universe, they're the good guy. You're the bad guy. It doesn't matter. Facts don't matter. You offend them, they become extremely offended. They offend you, and what's your problem? You could steal a penny from a narcissist, and you may as well steal $1 million. But the narcissist could steal $1 million from you if you had $1 million. And to the narcissist, yeah, just like stealing a penny. I mean, everything is just backwards. That's the way they think. That's the way their mindset is. So you got to understand as you're preparing to discard the narcissist that, they're going to be caught in this loop. They're not going to understand what's going on. They, many times, are actually going to feel like they are the wounded party and you are the wounding person. One level, they know better, but they will exaggerate that. They will embellish it. And again, as we said earlier, they're very convincing. See those 2 rectangles on the screen? If you like what you hear, let's keep talking. If you want, just click one of those 2 rectangles and the conversation will keep on going.